General Erwin Rommel, his diaries, personal letters, and command reports reveal the fear, insight, and human vulnerability of a top commander as he confronted the Allied invasion, making his perspective the most emotionally compelling. You do not fear a force that attacks across an ocean you control. For decades, the German High Command believed that the Atlantic coast, stretching from the jagged fjords of Norway to the sun-baked cliffs of the Pyrenees, was impregnable. The Atlantic Wall, conceived by Hitler and engineered by hundreds of thousands of soldiers and forced laborers, was designed to annihilate any invader before they ever reached French soil. Concrete bunkers bristled along cliffs, fortified with 75mm and 155mm artillery. Steel obstacles littered the beaches like jagged teeth, designed to crush the hulls of landing craft. Mines, both anti-tank and anti-personnel, waited silently beneath the sand. Barbed wire stretched in tangled tangles to ensnare soldiers, while machine guns trained on pre-selected kill zones. Generals and engineers insisted that these fortifications were unassailable. Coastal defenses were layered to ensure that attackers would be funneled into crossfires, slaughtered in the surf before they could even set foot on dry ground. Hitler himself boasted that France was now an impenetrable fortress and that no enemy could ever breach the Atlantic Wall. For years, this rule held firm. It was codified into doctrine, drilled into soldiers, and repeated in command posts from Berlin to Cherbourg. Reconnaissance reports confirmed the construction. Intercepted communications suggested that Allied planners had no easy solutions. The confidence was intoxicating, absolute, and deadly. But by 1944, one man began to doubt, and on June 6th, one moment would shatter the rule entirely, proving that even the most formidable fortifications could crumble under audacity, precision, and sheer determination. Erwin Rommel is 55, lean and sun-baked from years of campaigning. Known as the Desert Fox, he earned his reputation in the unforgiving sands of North Africa, where he commanded the Afrika Korps with audacity, intuition, and lightning-fast maneuvers. He understands mobility, the fragility of entrenched positions, and the limits of even the most disciplined troops. Now, Rommel commands Army Group B, responsible for defending the northern French coastline. He knows the stakes. A successful Allied invasion could crush the Third Reich's hold on Western Europe and change the trajectory of the war forever. Rommel studies the coastline obsessively. Omaha's cliffs, the beaches of Utah, Gold, Juno, and Sword. He memorizes each tide, each dune, each exit route. He inspects fortifications personally, crawling through tunnels, counting anti-tank obstacles, listening to engineers laying mines. Every detail matters. The German forces he commands are a mixture of veterans and conscripts. The 352nd Infantry Division at Omaha Beach is well-trained but untested in a landing of this scale. Other units, older men, and labor battalions man bunkers along other beaches. Discipline is present, but nerves are frayed. Rommel faces another challenge: deception. Operation Fortitude has convinced much of the German High Command that the main attack will be at Pas-de-Calais. He knows better, but Hitler and others ignore his warnings. By June, Rommel drives the cliffs, talks to officers, and writes in his diary, "The enemy is coming, and they will strike with force greater than anyone imagines." 0400, June 6, 1944. Darkness clings to Normandy. Inland at La Roche-Guyon, Rommel reviews his final reports. Bunkers manned, artillery crews ready, mines laid. The Atlantic Wall is prepared, but he knows instinctively that preparation alone may not suffice. Across the English Channel, over 5,000 Allied ships stir. Landing craft, bristling with troops, motors growling, wait to launch. 156,000 soldiers, 11,000 aircraft, and thousands of vehicles lie in wait. Every hour is a countdown, and Rommel is painfully aware the invasion is imminent. 0430, naval bombardment begins. 1,500 guns fire in unison. Wallows of explosions tear cliffs apart. German bunkers shake. Soldiers brace themselves against the concussive blasts. The sand vibrates, concrete cracks, and smoke drifts inland. Casualties mount already from friendly misfires and debris. 0445. Paratroopers begin their descent. The 101st and 82nd Airborne scatter across fields, villages, and hedgerows. Some land miles from their designated drop zones, but small groups immediately secure bridges, destroy communications, and ambush supply lines. Reports flow into Rommel. Roads blocked. Units cut off. Artillery positions threatened. His stomach tightens. 0500. Utah Beach. 23,000 American soldiers wade through surf into waist-deep water. Mines litter the beaches, detonating prematurely, throwing men and debris into the air. Shells from 75mm and 155mm guns crash around them. Casualties: 197 dead, 600 wounded in the first 30 minutes. Engineers clear paths using Bangalore torpedoes, cutting through obstacles as bullets whistle overhead. 0515, Omaha Beach. Chaos reigns. Soldiers flounder in rough surf, pinned by machine guns and artillery. 2,000 are immediately hit. Explosions hurl sand, smoke fills the air, and men scream. Bunkers that were thought to be secure are destroyed by naval fire. Rommel's mind races as he imagines each soldier slipping, drowning, bleeding, trapped under barbed wire. 0530, Pointe du Hoc. Rangers begin their assault. The cliffs are 100 feet high, pocked with mines. German gunners fire down relentlessly. 135 Rangers are killed in the first hour. Dozens were wounded, yet they persist, scaling ropes, climbing ladders, clearing obstacles, determined to destroy the artillery threatening Omaha. Rommel notes, they dare climb cliffs under fire that would kill most men.
0545 a.m. Omaha Beach. German defenders scramble. Orders shouted. Bullets crack. Bunkers collapse under bombardment. Rommel sees his defenses fracturing. The Atlantic Wall, once thought unassailable, begins to fail. 0600 a.m. Paratroopers inland. Bridges destroyed. Roads blocked. German communications severed. Villages are burning. Rommel receives a steady stream of alarming reports. Enemy paratroopers in our rear. Units isolated. Communications down. He imagines chaos spreading through command posts, exhausted men trying to regroup. 0615 a.m. Gold Beach. 25,000 British soldiers advance. 4,000 beach obstacles slow them, but engineers clear lanes under fire. German defenders, exhausted and pinned, lose ground. Casualties: 1,000 in the first hour, yet the British push forward relentlessly. 0630 a.m. Juno Beach. 14,000 Canadian soldiers assault. Tide is high, obstacles are lethal. Mines explode in sand, landing craft destroyed. Casualties: 1,800. Units fight forward, exploiting gaps in German lines, pushing 1,000 yards inland by 0800 a.m. Rommel writes, they advance faster than expected. Our reserves cannot reach the front. 0700 a.m. Omaha Beach. The American advance falters. First wave pinned. Casualties reach 3,000. Naval support fires over troops to suppress bunkers. German defenders are exhausted. Rommel's reports. Bunkers under assault. Machine guns were destroyed. Anti-tank guns neutralized. 0715 a.m. Pointe du Hoc. Rangers secure artillery positions. German counterattacks fail. Casualties: 250 of 500 Rangers, yet the mission succeeds. Rommel cannot believe the audacity and precision. 0730 a.m. Utah Beach. 4th Infantry Division clears mined roads, links with paratroopers. Beachhead strengthens. Rommel notes, enemy advancing 2 kilometers inland. Resistance is light, but organized. Reinforcements delayed. 0800 a.m. Omaha Beach. Key exits captured. Reinforcements move inland. German defenders were pinned with low ammunition. Rommel writes, "Beach defense is failing. The Atlantic wall is crumbling. Normandy is slipping from grasp." 08:30 a.m. Gold Beach. British troops push inland. Casualties, 2,200. Engineers clear barbed wire. Tanks support infantry. Rommel. Enemy speed exceeding estimates. Reserves are ineffective. 0900 a.m. Juno Beach. Canadians continue to advance. Mines cleared. Wire cut. Casualties, 1,800. Units exploit gaps in defenses. Rommel. The Atlantic Wall is breached in multiple sectors. 0930 a.m. Rommel orders armored counterattacks. Communications disrupted. Roads blocked. Armor arrives piecemeal. Too late to stop the advance. 0100 p.m. Airborne units consolidate. Bridges destroyed or secured. German troops scattered. Rommel. We fight a retreating war. Initiative lost. Every hour costs thousands of men. 0130 p.m. Point de Hook. Rangers destroy artillery. German survivors retreat inland. Casualties, 250 of 500 Rangers, yet the mission succeeds. 1,100 hours to 1,200 hours. Consolidation across all beaches. Allied forces link paratroopers and beach landings. German counterattacks fail. Rommel notes, "Our strategic reserves are ineffective. The beachhead is permanent. Atlantic Wall, a memory." Afternoon across Normandy. Americans push 3 to 5 kilometers inland at Omaha, Utah. British 2 kilometers at Gold. Canadians 2.5 kilometers at Juno. German survivors dig in wherever possible. Rommel. The rules have been broken. The Atlantic Wall is shattered. The consequences are immediate and far-reaching. Hitler rages in Berlin. Rommel's predictions of mobile reserves go ignored. The Allies now control a permanent foothold. Reinforcements arrive through Mulberry harbors. Supply lines stabilize. Rommel's advice about flexible defenses and rapid response is disregarded. German morale fractures. Command posts panic. The invasion signals the beginning of the liberation of France. By August, Paris falls. The German strategic position deteriorates irreversibly. Rommel watches helplessly. The Allies have seized the initiative. German forces retreat toward the Rhine. Normandy's beaches, once thought impossible to breach, are firmly in Allied hands. The shock waves of June 6 resonate across Europe, changing the trajectory of the war. Rommel survives the war, but is coerced into suicide in October 1944. His diaries, letters, and reports endure as testimony to a commander confronting unprecedented catastrophe. The men who stormed the beaches, American, British, Canadian, have their names etched in history. Monuments, photographs, and diaries honor their courage. Normandy was not won by generals alone, but by those who dared step into impossible conditions. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Every click ensures this history is remembered. Subscribe to join us in rescuing these stories from the archives. Turn on notifications. Share in the comments where you're watching from and if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Erwin Rommel and the 156,000 men of the Allied invasion force do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.